Hello, I'm Walter Noason, the Life Science Product Manager for IndySoft. Prior to joining IndySoft, I was the Calibration Department Manager for Medtronic medical device manufacturer for 22 years. Today's Tip Tuesday will be the introduction of the Configuration Changes utility. In regulated industries such as biomedical, it is critical to maintain the calibration database in a validated state. One way IndySoft does this is in event workflows by using audit trails. But how do you do this with system admin level configuration changes? In version 12, IndySoft released the Configuration Changes utility, which is used to automatically record all changes to IndySoft configurations across 10 areas, such as alarms, event configurations, print builder templates, standard reports, custom rules, data sync scripts, data sync maps, IndySoft searches, screen layout and flowcharts, and script projects. In our Tip Tuesday, we are going to go over where you'll find the Configuration Changes utility, and we'll review the 3 tabs of the utility, which are Changes, Locks, and Settings. First, let's find utility by clicking on the grid icon in the upper right hand corner of the home screen. The Configuration Changes icon is located in the monitoring section in the right middle section of the screen. Note, you will need to be a system administrator to open this utility. So we're going to click on the icon. Once the utility is open, you can see that the default screen is in the Changes tab. There are 3 main areas of the Changes tab screen. Certainly, we have the 3 tab settings. In the left section, you have filtering options. And in the main section, you have the results grid. Let's go to the filtering options panel. You can filter results in 3 ways. You have a data range. If unchecked, all dates will be seen. You can do it by user, and if unchecked, all users will be seen. And then you can do it by configuration type of the 10 types. In our example here, I have selected 4 of the 10 types. I view these 4 as the most essential validation types. They are alarms, event configuration, print builder templates, and standard reports. I view the unchecked configuration types as more administrative change in nature, and therefore do not typically need to be tracked. The results grid has several fields to describe the contents of the configuration change in quite detail. You have date and time when the change was made. You have the configuration type within the change. You have both a key 1 and a key 2 to give some more information about what configuration type the change was made in. You have the revision number of the change, which automatically increments through additional changes. You have the name of the login user. You have the client version and database version. You have the login company of which the change was made within, and then the employee's name. Additionally, below the change fields, you will see in blue the comments that the user made during the actual configuration change. Additionally, several options are available as buttons above the grid. You have a refresh all button. You have the auto refresh changes every minute. This is a very useful button to have turned on. You have the remove change from archive. Now, this is pretty dangerous, so this can be turned off in profile settings by the system administrator. You have an export selected change as a zip file, and then you have a revert to selected change, which is quite useful in the event that you've made the change and then very quickly ascertain that that change either was unwarranted, unneeded, or not effective, and you could then revert to change. And what's good about that is the change that you made under revert will track all the information so you can be sure to have a good audit trail. Okay, let's go on to the Locks tab. The Locks tab prevents two users from attempting to modify the same configuration item at the same time. Of course, we don't want that to happen. It's not typical that you have more than one system administrator anyway, so just to be safe, click the All button, and then All will be automatically locked, and that will be sufficient on this screen. Now let's go to the Settings tab. The Setting tabs, there are 8 different system-wide settings for each of the configuration types. Actually, there are mainly 3 of the settings that are most important. There is the archive changes upon save. You click on the arrow button here, and then you can select which ones you have to be evoked of your configuration types of the 10. It's just safe to go ahead and select all of them because that is a good selection. The next one is the prompt for comment upon save and archive. Once again, select all of them. And then the third one that is important is the require comment upon save and archive. And once again, select them all. And you have made a very effective setting selection for an effective audit trail of configuration changes. Pretty simple, pretty quick, pretty straightforward. What's interesting here is sometimes it's confusing that the prompt and that the require appear to be very similar, but they do have a distinction. And the distinction is this. If you have the prompt selected, that's giving the user an option to make a comment. If you additionally have a require selection, that requires the user to make a mandatory comment, which is certainly the one I prefer because that will be the most effective way to maintain a validated state for tracking your configuration changes. So they appear to be similar in nature, but there is a distinction difference, and I hope you can see that now. Let's go back to the changes screen because now it's one of those chicken and egg sort of things. Now that you know how the rest of the settings are made and tabs are utilized, let's go back to this now to see some changes that have been made, and you can see the usefulness of the information of the changes that are made in an event configuration, which I made in preparation for this Tip Tuesday, and then alarms, standard reports, print builder templates, and event configuration that was made by our system administrator to import alarms, standard reports, print builder templates, and event configuration into the life science workflow database that we're using for our Tip Tuesday. In summary, tracking configuration changes is actually difficult to do and not a typical element of many calibration software. The IndySoft configuration changes utility tracks changes in a simple yet effective way. For additional information on how to maintain your calibration software in a validated state, you can read my article in CalLab Magazine. And if you go to CalLab Magazine, there's articles that are archived, and you can go to the article index and then find my article on maintaining a calibration management software system in a regulated environment. You will find this paper very useful in how to maintain your database in a validated state, covering many aspects of how to maintain a database using change control, configuration control, and operational control. So thank you for attending our Tip Tuesday on configuration changes utility, and keep a lookout for our next Tip Tuesday from a life sciences regulated industry perspective, where we'll show another way to manage change control using segmented companies as part of the IndySoft database. Have a good day. Thank you.